This is what I mean by begin construction on your drawings. I'm going to be using a blue pencil in Photopea to show you what I'm talking about. But in your case, I want you to draw very lightly the shapes that make up the characters. So this character is basically as a square head. If you think in terms of a skeleton, this would be where its spine would be. Its hips are here, and its chest is here. Coming off of its chest are two arms. Coming off of its hips are two legs. And then it has this tail. Now again, I'm drawing this very loosely, very quickly. But I want you to start taking your time with this, but I want you to construct them by noticing the shapes. And I'm just adding shapes to it to construct it in such a way that I won't forget any of the pieces. Because what I'm going to do is, again, I'm drawing this in Photopea, and I'm just putting all the pieces in so that when I turn off the background layer, you can see the blue line drawing. Back in the old days, they used to use a blue pencil and then photograph the finished artwork with a black and white camera that wouldn't show up on the blue lines. Or excuse me, the blue lines wouldn't show up. So I'm just very quickly going through and drawing these shapes. I'm not even totally completing them, because when I turn off the blue line layer, you'll be able to see the details of the underlying structure of this cartoon character. So that's all the pieces I think I need. And I'll draw this again on paper so that you can see what I'm talking about on paper and provide that video for you tomorrow. But for today, this is what the skeleton looks like. I'm going to turn off the background layer and increase the opacity of this layer. And then I'm going to click on the final ink layer. And in your case, this is where you would start applying more pressure to the drawing. I'm still looking at the drawing on the screen, but basically, I want to also make the pencil a little thicker on here. But I'm just going to very quickly go through this and show you how I would draw this if I were drawing it by hand, using the construction lines that I've already created. Again, I'm looking at the screen, which is presented in front of the classroom, but I'm just going around my drawing and I'm holding the shift key down in Photopea to do point to point the same way we did when we used Klecky. So point to point to get these shapes. I'm going to make my brush just a little smaller for these details. And I can fix these better later. Oops. I have to let go of the shift key. Drawing the eyes. Again, I'm looking at the physical drawing that's being presented in front of the classroom so that I can draw these shapes. And I would be doing a better job if I were drawing this on paper. but I'm actually using the mouse, which isn't even like a stylus. Detail here of a belly button. The tail is a lot wider. I would have more control if I was doing this on paper. And I can do point to point again, holding the shift key down for these details. So now all I have to do is turn off the blue line layer. And that's my finished drawing. So once again, you're going to do this on paper. If you want to try and play around with it on the computer, that's fine. I'll have to provide the drawing for you so that you can trace over it. But other than that, this is how I would construct this particular character.